Yay, let's get started. Welcome here and so the oopsie, I just made it tiny. The power method that is making me happy. I'm going to talk about today the 5 steps or phases or stages, if you will, about how we go from that take us from being disempowered, feeling disconnected, feeling like we're constantly behind the 8 ball, whether it's behind in time, behind in money, behind in energy, to recognizing our role in that, recognizing our ability to change that. We have the ability to change everything and anything. And the more we take that power back, why I'm calling it power, is okay, is that we can go from feeling like, oh my gosh, that person's making me angry. Why don't they behave? Why do they keep doing this? Don't they respect me? I hear that all the time. People don't respect me or they want me to do this. And I'm like, so what? So what? If somebody wants you to do something, do you have to? Not always. And I will help you get to that clarity about like, when do I need to be taking care of other people's? When do I need to be taking care of myself? And knowing how to walk that line between, we've got on one hand uber independence, I can do everything on my own, I've got this, to the other side of the spectrum, total codependence. I can't live without that person. I'm obsessed with that person. Even if that person's no longer in my life, I'm still thinking about them all the time. And it feels like they're sort of running my emotional show. And then when we get to this place of neutrality and healthy interdependence, I like to look at it like a nicely, smooth, what is it, a well-oiled machine. When two people can come to that place where they are not over functioning for performance and approval, they are not completely enmeshed with each other, but they found this equal place where they feel like a whole person, each person does, and they can come together in relationship to have a clear, clean, healthy relationship and understand that everybody is on their own journey and we come into people's lives to learn more about ourselves. So one of the things that I know people struggle with is, their primary relationships, because we were programmed with certain fantasies. And so people will go through life not having certain needs met and think that their partner is going to meet all of their needs. And then when they don't, resentment builds, blah, blah, blah. Now, we can replace the word partner, relationship, with somebody, or our primary person, our family members. We can put anybody in there or any idea in there. So maybe you want to heal your relationship with money, for example. Maybe you want to heal your relationship with your body. You want to heal your relationship with your home, with your attachment to stuff, with your ability to create the life that you desire. So you want to heal your relationship with your belief systems. And you can insert anything in here that you want to heal your relationship with or take your power back from. You've given up all of your energy to something and your power. We're going to talk about how we call our power back and move through these stages that I'm going to teach you about to get to the point where you actually are a woman or a man who lives life with such an easy magnetic relationship to the things you desire. And the more we get clear on who we are, why we are here, we are clean with our own selves, we have a clean, healthy relationship with ourselves, then our interface with the rest of the world goes so much more smoothly. And that's when we walk in power. We're going to be using that word a lot because the thing that is the difference in everything I've experienced in knowing, all of this work I've done on my personal growth, on my clients' personal growth, on studying people, on watching their journeys. Everything is about our power. Whether we are holding our power and moving through life in our power, or if we've handed it over to somebody else. So we're going to talk about that a lot. And as such, I have made my power method. You will see yourself somewhere here on this journey, this power method journey that I'm describing. And you can see where you are really cruising along. You go, oh, I see myself right there. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm up there, but I can see myself. I can see where I am. And once we know where we are, then we can move forward powerfully. So the first step in the power method is P, presence and power over old patterns. So I'm going to teach in not today, but over the next few weeks, I'm going to teach the deep dive of how we do each one of these phases and what each one looks like. So today I'm going to introduce them, and I'll go and scratch the surface with all of them. So when we recognize, oh, I'm experiencing life and I feel like, yeah, things are going along nice and smoothly, and suddenly, bam, crash, something interacts with our world that we, let's say, freak out about, that feels like, and we have a reaction to, we have an experience with. When that happens, what we can say to ourselves is, I'm feeling something. I've got energy around this thing. It could be anything. It will hit you out of the blue. You won't even expect it. And people who do not understand this journey, normal muggles out in the world who think that what they see is what they get and there's nothing beyond it, they will say, that thing makes me happy, or that thing makes me angry, or that person is bad, or that person is good. And so we're putting people and experiences, events on a pedestal or in a pit. When we get present with ourselves, we will, and that's a pattern. Like, okay, let's take an example let's take traffic. We can all relate to traffic, right? We're driving down the freeway and everything's smooth and sailing and it's beautiful. And you run into a little bit of traffic and you're like, that's cool. I'm having a nice morning. Life is good. And there's a little bit of traffic. I'm expecting that. No big deal. And then somebody like comes up behind you and you go, wow, you see them in your rear view mirror. Like, wow, that person's kind of going at an excessive rate of speed. And then they cut you off. And then all of a sudden you're like, and you have a physical response to, oh my God, that horrible person, that crazy person you start judging that person and the event. You say, oh, why does this kind of stuff always happen to me? I just slam on my brakes, my coffee spilled, and now I'm really, really angry because of an event. Now, what we can do when we're in our presence, we can recognize that an event took place. And sometimes, if you're realizing, oh, as you're driving along, you realize, oh, I got to pick up my kids, and then I got to get them to the grocery store, and then I got to get the soccer practice. And you start to go worrying about what you've got to do and how busy you're getting. And it's a low level worry. But then this guy cuts you off, your coffee spills, whatever. Now life is a disaster. And now we say things like, why are drivers so crazy? Why is everybody such a crazy person on the road? Why does everything always happen to me? And we can go into pattern thinking. And that sounds like victim thinking, right? Like, oh, things Always and never. Whenever you hear yourself saying things like always, never, they, people. I used to have a girl I worked with and somebody would ask her a question. She goes, because people are assholes. That was her response to everything. And I thought, wow, what a world. I would not want to live in a world where I thought people were assholes. And I saw a guy on TV last night. He's not on TV, but I was watching a YouTube thing, and he was like, well, that's because people aren't trustworthy. And again, I'm like, I would not want to live in his world. And I used to think those things. I used to believe that until I started to look at where I was giving my power to. So let's go back to the guy cutting you off. You spill your coffee, and you have this. There's a level 3 or 4 event. Pretty inconvenient. Not too happy about it. The traffic is still moving along, and actually, you happen to have a little towel there. You wipe up the coffee, no big deal. But you are now in this level 4 event, level 3 or 4 event. You're having a level 10 experience inside. Oh my God, this is always happening. You start freaking out. And what my clients always know when I say something like, if it's hysterical, it's historical. Let's say you're cruising along and you're really living in your power most of the time. You just have an easy relationship with your life. And you've done a lot of work on how you see the world and your reactions and responses to life. And the same thing happens. If you've been in my world for half a minute, you're going to go, there's a blessing here. I don't know what it is, but that was an unusual experience. And I need to start paying attention. Is there a pattern in the coffee? I see a stain on my pants now. I'm going to see what that turns into. You're going to look at everything differently when you do the work of recognizing when you go into pattern, when you are triggered, and saying, I'm having a lot of energy around this. It's my job to pay attention. I'm the one having the reaction. The person who did whatever they did to cut me off, they were a player in my inner drama. They're a character. I've written them in. So this experience is not about what's happening out there in the world. This is my invitation, my opportunity to get to know myself better and go, let me be present with what I'm feeling right now. I was feeling irritated, feeling like, oh, more pressure. Now I'm going to be late. I'm going to be embarrassed walking through the store with a coffee stain on my pants, and what if that cute checker is there and he's going to judge me? Like, you can have all kinds of crazy thoughts going on, but if we don't address them, if we're not present with them, they're just going to stack up into our stress load, and we're going to build up more stress, and we're going to tell more stories about like how the world is out to get us. When we go present, we go, oh wow, this is real. I noticed I just had a big response to that. And then we do what I will teach you. I'm going to be teaching everybody throughout the next few weeks in my Radiant Soul Mastermind. We're going to go deeper in this about what do we do with that? How do we address that experience where I had a hysterical or level 10 response to a level 3 or 4 event? It tells me it's something inside of me. So what do I need to do? And I'm going to back up a minute here, because how we perceive the world, the events around us, everything that we think that, how we think the world works, everything has to do with our belief systems and our energy. So we have stories, we've got wounded energy from growing up in a home or an environment where our needs were not fully met. Maybe we were dressed, we got clothing, we've got food, we've got shelter, we've got the basic needs, right? If you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so we're surviving, we are alive, our physical bodies are alive. And then we think about like, well, do we have like the connections with people? Do we have any sense of safety emotionally? Are our emotional needs met? Or if am I being chastised or neglected or somehow pushed back on when I have needs as a child? And the more we do not have our emotional needs met, our inner children cannot develop. So while we have the bodies that are building up, we go to school and we learn certain things. We become adults in adult bodies with adult minds, but our inner bodies, our inner world, our emotional bodies are starving for affection, malnutrition, underdeveloped. And so most adults out there in the world that we're driving on the freeways with, going to the grocery store with, hanging out at work with, most of them are driving a bus around like a little toddler. They're emotionally toddlers, and you can see it playing out on the global field right now. We can see it. We know that people having all these hyperbolic reactions to anything that goes on in the news, on Twitter, on Facebook, everything is so much more magnified in drama than it warrants. And most of the people are so programmed to react and respond to everything going on outside of them and point fingers and blame. And that's why we're in this state of absolute chaos in our culture, at least. I don't know about other parts of the world. I don't know all the different cultures, but I know our culture right now, most people are running around on fumes. They're exhausted, they're overwhelmed, and they don't have enough in their minds. They do not feel like they have enough. They're not doing enough, and they aren't enough. It is my mission to help everybody see who comes through my world to understand and know that they are enough. You're doing enough. You have enough. There's nothing outside of you that you need to go chase and fix without first cleaning up this relationship with yourself and recognizing when you're in pattern and how to get back into presence. And you do this through regular habits. You do this through recognizing when you are in a trigger situation, taking your power back, and doing the work that you need to do, answering that call, that invitation to inquire deeper within. Why is this thing outside of me giving me such a response? And we have this all the time when we pay our monthly bills. What do we feel about paying bills? We get mad at them, or do we say, thank you for the money I have to pay for these bills? These bills represent the choices I make in my lifestyle. So how can we love those bills? When we change our relationship with money, with ourselves, with our environment, life starts to be way more fun. So things that we're going to learn about in the phase one is recognizing the triggers when we're out of pattern, when we're in pattern over presence, call our power back, how to do the deeper inquiry, how to connect more deeply to heal that little girl inside of us who is emotionally starved, how to give her what she needs, because when her needs are fulfilled, she no longer needs to go outside of herself to feel valid, worthy, safe, creative, joyful, and worthy of love. So that's kind of an overview of like the first stage of the power method. I have this funny little like thing that I created. These are my original notes when this power method came through to me. And so this is step one, presence over pattern, sorry. And that's your P. And so we're going to, as we go through this today, you're going to say, oh, that's where I am. I get it. Okay. And then when you know where you are, that's really amazing because you know exactly what work is next for you to do to get to where you're realizing your manifestation. So O is owning your desires unapologetically, no matter what they are, no matter how outrageous they are. Hold on, I'm getting a bunch of messages from my son and that dad. I just need to 130, okay. Just seeing if there's anything I need to deal with here. Okay. All right, all good. Okay. So owning your desires, no matter what they are, no matter how outrageous they are, and the other thing about owning is owning your worth. This is a thing that many people are challenged with. So if I know what I want, that's great. Oh, I want this income, this business, this life, this family, this type of relationship. Excellent. But can you own your worthiness to hold those things? So level one is like saying out loud, admitting what you want. So many people are so afraid to do it and say, oh, this is the life I want, because they do not feel like A, it's available, or they're worthy of it. And when we start to allow ourselves to own what we want unapologetically without asking for approval, then we get to get even more clear. Clarity with our desires is super important, because if we are not sending out the signal with clear eyes and no resistance, and this is where I'm going, we are going to confuse ourselves, the universe, and everybody else out there. I don't know what I want, and I keep changing my order. Say I want a hamburger, and now I say I want a pizza, and now I say I want a chicken. If we're in the restaurant of life, we're not going to get clear results. We will find that you might say, I'm doing all the right things, but nothing's working. And that could be because you're not super clear and you're saying, oh, I want this thing, but deep down, there's still residual energy that says that's not possible. So we want to get really, really clear with what we want, focus on our desire and our vision of what that looks and feels like. And as we do that, we're going to have stuff come up that tells us you can't. It's not the right time. You're not good enough ready. That's where we get to be really honest with ourselves and take ownership and responsibility for the thoughts we think, the beliefs we have, the emotions that we put into something. And we get to change that story. When we can own not only our desires and our worthiness, but our blocks, our limitations that are invented in our minds, then we get even more clean and clear with our relationship with the things that we desire. And this is where we move into the next phase, W. Now we're up here on, I don't know if you can see this, and it doesn't really matter because it's so sloppy, but W, the W of power. We wake up to our wholeness, our worth. And this part of waking up and saying, oh, I want this thing to work out. I want to call in soulmate love. I want to get paid to be me. I want to live in a gorgeous home. I want to have a family. Whatever your wants are, when you're clear on it, and the stuff comes up that says the old programs you're playing around in your head over and over, the belief systems, you look at those and you start to change them. Now we are waking up and we get to do deep shadow work, because those belief systems, those running programs, they're there for a reason. And part of the reason that we still entertain them is that we still do not accept our worthiness. So we're going to take that even deeper to really embracing who we are, how we've developed certain relationships, how we show up in certain relationships. And remember, when I say relationships, it means our relationship with anything or anybody. And when patterns, we recognize, oh, I'm seeing this pattern and I have a hard time getting out of it, we got to go in deeper. Sometimes you can just have the awareness and go, oh, I see that pattern that I every day, like I remember learning, doing this when my son was like 3 years old. And every morning he would just wake up and go, Mom, and scream out. Because, that was a pattern. Because I always responded. And then one day I'm like, wait a minute, this kid is he's a pretty smart kid. What if I just say to him, hey, Sean, when you wake up in the morning and you don't know where I am, how about you just get yourself up and you come into our room and you say, you quietly, tap me on the shoulder, wake me up, say something, hey, Mom, I'm hungry, whatever. And he did. So we just brought awareness to like, this doesn't work for us. So let's just change it. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes deeply ingrained belief systems, patterns, programs, they're harder. And so you've got to learn to pull that stuff up and be able to see with clear eyes what's going on below the surface. And my high frequency habits, if you follow the high frequency habits that I know do this work, clear this stuff for you, you will be able to get below the surface and clean up those parts of you that you have said are not okay, that you have said, nope, it's not safe to be that. And now we are doing shadow work to love and embrace our shadows, the dark ones and the golden ones. Golden shadows are something I'll talk about another time. But now we are whole. We are waking up to our wholeness. I no longer have to repress part of my personality. In fact, it's safe to be that. Like when I am out with my friends, I know I'm safe to be crazy Gina. I can start dancing. I can sing off key. I can make my off color jokes. And I know I'm safe to do that because I've made those parts of me visible and worthy to be here. Waking up to our wholeness is one of the things that will completely remove so many barriers to the magic that you want to call in. But if we don't know those subconscious programs, then we're not going to be able to clean them up and create new belief systems. So when we do this, then we're ready to decide. We're really ready to decide, I'm going to simply be her. I'm going to embody. So the next phase, step, stage, whatever you want, we are embodying. This is the E. We're elevating our programming. We're elevating our energy, embodying her, and we're evolving. So who is her? Her is that version of you who you have said you want to be. If you want to be a famous actress, then how does she act? If you want to be somebody who runs a business and are successful, then what does she do every day? You're going to have to know who she is and learn how to connect with her energy and operate from her energy, which means you will no longer allow other people's energy to be driving you. You have to let the old version of you, the partial version of you, the part of you, the version of you who didn't accept yourself and hid bits of yourself, that version of you has to die. She has to go away. So let's see. Sorry, my son is in the middle of like apartment negotiations right now, so it's kind of like there's a lot going on there, but their dad is handling it, thankfully, because I have become somebody who says I do not have to respond to every text, but I do want to see if there is something they need me for, like in the middle of a conversation. So I'm sorry for my little bit scatteredness, but here we are. I own it. I do not have to, I mean, I could apologize and take responsibility, but I don't have to hide from it. This is my life. This is who I am. You know me. because I let you into my current reality. So now embodying her. How do we embody the elevated version of us? Well, we've done a lot of shadow work. We're becoming more aware of our power. We're taking responsibility for our power, our responses to life, and we have a vision. Now, if I know the life that she's living, what she has normalized, what she gets to live day to day, the choices she makes, her character, when I see her character, I see her as somebody who shows up as, so if I'm looking at my future self, the life that I'm creating, she is somebody who is prioritizes her business. She shows up for her business. She shows up for her clients. She shows up for the support she needs in her business. She knows, this version of me knows that I'm not doing this alone. I'm not creating this amazing experience for myself and others that pays me very well and creates an amazing transformational container for my clients. I'm not doing that without support. I'm not doing that all alone. I'm not an uber independent person who needs to go exhaust myself doing it all. She has hired and provided an income stream for other people to support her. She knows that her habits, her daily habits, are what support her energy. So when we learn about energy management and we learn about the 86,400 units of energy that we have, we're all given, every human is given the same 86,400 units of energy, and how we fuel ourselves or drain ourselves with our energy, understanding our boundaries, understanding what fuels our body. When you know what she's doing and how she's eating, exercising, meditating, manifesting, what she does before the world gets a piece of her, who she says yes and no to, how clear she is with her vision, how aligned she is with living her vision. I see all of that when I'm struggling with like lack of belief, fears coming up, uncertainty about what to do. I just talk to her. I say, well, what would you do today? Now that I see where you've gotten your life, she knows. She knows who she is, how she got there. So she can inform me. I would focus on, make sure you do your meditation today. I would focus on, you know, getting back into the, getting clear on your vision. How did we get here? So she will tell me what she does every day, what she doesn't bother with, what has really worked. There is value, so much value that people don't understand when they're looking externally for their next steps, their instructions. They're missing out on the one thing, entity, energy, resource that they need. The only resource you need for moving your life forward is you. When you allow yourself to be guided because you've managed your energy, you've reached a frequency where you can actually hear your inner guidance. Now you are powerful beyond means, beyond measure. Sally, it's incalculable how powerful you are. If you commit to following this guidance from your higher self, and I'm going to show you how to recognize guidance. Inspiration is going to feel good. It's going to feel exciting. It's going to feel easy. It's going to feel like, even if there are lots of steps and ways to get there, those obstacles, steps, challenges to do things aren't going to overwhelm you, because you know that's all you need to do. I need to do this, and it will be shown to you literally in real time. Most people who are trying to change their lives, they're trying to figure out, well, if I want to be there in 3 or 5 years, what do I have to do? And they're like trying to reverse engineer everything rather than being here and now, and trusting that that vision, yep, that feels really good. I'm heading in that direction. Energetically aligning with it, emotionally connecting. Ooh, what does that feel like? Nice. Why do I want that? How does that move me forward? Without knowing that, you're going to do everything in your power to like climb there. And you're going to exhaust yourself because you've made this thing separate from you, rather than saying, all right, girlfriend, we're here. Gina the Good Witch, she's here. She's living this life in this home with this partner and this thriving business. And when I rehearse the future memories of that version of me, because I trust what has been shown to me, it feels good. I don't know how to get there, and I don't have to. I need to know what is mine to do today. I also need to know that I know what are the things that elevate my energy and that drain. It is so important for you to start embodying her habits, even though you don't know how. And a lot of people get this confused because they think, well, she's really wealthy and she has money coming through that I don't have. Should I be spending like her? And no, that is not how it necessarily works, unless it is aligned and you go, oh, I really know that me investing in this thing, whatever this thing is, it could be equipment, it could be a lawyer, it could be therapy, it could be a gym membership. It does not matter. It could be coaching, it can be a computer, tools for your business, whatever it is, you'll know because it feels right. And when you really fine tune your connection to know how to read, is this an aligned investment or is this an investment that I'm doing because that's what somebody on the internet told me to do, that I have to do this and that in order to get there? Trust your inner guidance. Inspiration will feel good. Fear won't. Fear will not feel good because fear is not aligned with this version of you. This version of you does not fear the world. So this version of me also knows whatever I've done, when I'm here and I want to be here, I see that that's where I'm going. This version of me knows, and you might want to write this down, your divine identity, where you're headed, she knows that you could never mess it up. You could never go wrong. Even if you did invest in something and it turned out to be a bad investment, there is no wrong turn. If you wake up every morning and you just tell yourself, there is no wrong turn, I cannot get it wrong, you will see how maybe something you thought wasn't the right thing actually led you to where you needed to be and you didn't know it. But she knows it. Give her a name, talk to her. And she is also going to help you in soothing this little girl in you, the little inner child. She's going to help you. The three of you traveling together are unstoppable, because when the little you inside starts to feel safe and start to come out, that's your magic. That's your inner brilliance. But if you are still living in survival mode all the time, every day, and you've got more of the hormones running through your body that create more stress, you're going to stay in that identity of survival mode. This step one, getting into your presence and power in healing that relationship, healing that little girl by you giving her what she needs, what she's looking for. When she starts to now feel safe, she can expand and she can start informing you what you should be doing also, because it's through her joy that you can express yourself in the way you came here on planet Earth at this time and space to do. That is your joyful inspiration. And when you go back to, if you had really wanted to know how to start accessing her, sit down every morning and write a list of what you love. I remember I started doing this years ago, and I had to come up with a list of as many things that I loved. And it was basic stuff. I love baking cookies. I love typing on a keyboard. I love writing notes. I love playing sports. Just, it doesn't matter. What you're doing is you're tapping into a deeper message, a deeper who you are, the core of you. And then from there, you can start doing some of those things, and that is going to feed her. So now we are, how can we embody? We're still on E, embodying and elevating and evolving. So now when the little girl in you starts to feel safer, she's going to not have this pull, this fear overriding your inspiration. Now your inspiration will allow you to guide, you will allow your inspiration to guide you. You will say yes to things that you never would have allowed yourself to do. I've had clients who quit their jobs, Sally, even though not sure I don't know what's going to happen, but it's time. I've had people move to different states, even though they knew they were going to get a lot of pushback from their family. They moved to different states because they allowed themselves to not need to perform for others. That inner safety will drive you to the life you desire. And it's a constant process of creating that inner safety, because as you step out of your comfort zone and you start embodying next level you, being more and more acting like her, you're going to be moving out of your comfort zone. And so those pattern triggers are going to keep coming up, and you're going to keep with the healing process. Allow that pattern to come up, recognize it, reframe it, and you're either going to do a quick shift, like, oh, that no longer serves me. I'm going to change this pattern of thinking, behaving, speaking, just like that. Or it may require more deep inquiry. The better you get at connecting with yourself and being present in each moment with yourself, the more you'll know it. You will trust your decisions. You will trust your actions. And the world, the universe will give you the evidence that you are on the right path, because you'll start to build momentum. You're like, I know where I'm going, so I'm just going to keep walking in that direction. Even when circumstances feel like, hey, the men aren't coming, the partners aren't coming, or the money's not coming. We're going to make actual physical life circumstances smaller. We're going to have to be delusional in our optimism. Delusional optimism is what separates the people who change their actual lives, massive, significant, lasting transformation, from those who stay stuck in patterns. Delusional optimism. And it is hard to practice it regularly unless you are walking in your power. One thing my clients know for sure is I don't teach positive thinking. That's basic. And positive thinking does have its place in the healing process. It can help you to start shifting your thoughts a little bit. But I teach powerful thinking. That means I can be with what is happening, even if it feels like my life is a dumpster fire. And I can still say, I've asked for this. Thank you for showing me what I have been asking for. Thank you for showing me where I have deeper healing to do. Thank you for showing me what I no longer want. And we can see every single thing that ever happens to us, every circumstance, as a gift, because we are in our power and we get to choose how we perceive this, how we move forward. If this is an undesired experience, well, what am I going to make of it? I'm not just going to have one series of undesirable experiences after another. I'm going to use them to fuel my power. And I'm going to trust myself to say, I don't have to look at this right now because I'm going here. And I will look at this when I'm ready. I can trust myself to say, now I'm ready to open this up. One of the big challenges I see most people struggling with to really make leaps is that they make a step forward. So imagine, say you're out in the ocean, right? And you're leaving the shore, and you've got this little boat, and you row your boat past the breakers. And you're like, at first it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable, but the waves are kind of making my boat rock, but okay, I can handle it. I'm going to hang on and get past those breakers. Now you're in new territory. And that little girl or boy in you is going to say, it is not safe here. Go back to shore. I've been through this more times than I can count. And there are times when I do. I trust myself to know this is a time to retreat. Or I trust myself to say, I know, but my vision is not moving. I know it's happening. So if I knew this thing was happening, whether it's this year, next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, doesn't matter. Time is an illusion that we don't need to waste our time with. If I knew I was going to be here, I would sail through any ocean waters. I would face those storms powerfully and say, I'm still going here. I'm going to be present with this storm. It's showing me something. What is this bringing forth from within me? Because remember, I know everything I need is in me. So these storms, they're showing me something. What do I need to grow from this? Do I need to develop more confidence? Do I need to be more focused on what I say I want? Do I need to dive in more? Do I need to express myself more clearly? For me right now, what I'm working on is communicating this work in a way that is so powerful, unmistakably effective, that my audience cannot mistake the perfection of this process. And they know that this is exactly what they need to get to where they're going. Now, my audience is not made up with people who don't want to change their lives. People who say, well, I want to change my life, but it's my ex-husband who's really keeping me from doing that, because you wouldn't believe all the things that he and his lawyer and his family are doing to me. I'm not interested. I'm not a therapist who's going to, and this is not against therapists, because I know that many therapists are now getting more into the progressive transformation of people's lives. But there's a big philosophy in therapy that we've got to dive deep into everything and talk about over and over and over where I am. Where are you today? How are you feeling today? And it's like that will keep somebody in such a perpetual state of victimhood versus, okay, here you are. That happened. Great. What are we doing with it? Let's go. Because here's where you're going. If you don't share your vision with yourself or with me, you don't have to share it with me, because a lot of people, but when you do, and I see with no resistance that that is your future, that's what you're creating, I have nothing against that. I'm actually going to be holding that vision for you when you go into pattern, as you will. It's guaranteed. If you're living outside of your comfort zone, the devil's going to come up. If you want to learn more about the devil, what is it? Outwitting the Devil is one of the most powerful books you'll ever read, because the devil is that little girl in you. And I use the word devil as like, that's just the ego in you saying, come on, you cannot, change your diet, because what are you going to do without cookies? And you have all these events coming up and you need cookies. But if you've decided like, hey, I actually prioritize like having, going to the holidays with the body I say I want, this is going to have to be stronger than that daily seduction of cookies or whatever. And the little girl in you is going to be really, really crafty to say, no, you need the cookies. You can't live just like how rude of you to, go to Molly's house and not like enjoy her cookies. Like she's going to be offended. Like all the crazy stories will come up. Crazy experiences will come up. And it's not like the universe is testing you. It's that you are swimming in different waters now. Your boat is in a deeper sea. So you have to build skills. And you build the skills through your every single day habits. And you create those habits based on what you know elevates you, what you know this version of you is doing. This version of me, she's not eating as many cookies. Maybe once in a while, but not regularly. This version of me, she does push-ups and sit-ups and squats and things every day. So I started to embody her. This version of me, she meditates at least 30 minutes a day because she knows that's what tunes her in to her intuitive guidance. She doesn't say, oh, I can't meditate today because I've got company coming over later and I got to get the house ready. This is the priority. And when you make your habits the daily priority and you commit to what you commit to, the universe and the 3D material world adjusts around you. It rearranges everything to line up you, to move faster to here. You move so much faster when you act like her. You dress like her. You invest like her. You speak like her. You have to know, how does she speak? Does she speak like, oh, hey man, yeah, like, well, here's what I want to talk about. So, okay, well, if you feel good about yourself, then you're gonna do magical thing and manifest a lot of cool stuff. Like what? Like I could talk like that, or I could say, I know that this works, and I am becoming more and more clear on how to communicate what I know I need to communicate. And I'm watching people who I admire, who inspire me, because I know if I spot it in someone else, I've got it. And so I model and I go, oh, I really like how they do that. And I invest a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy in modeling the ways that people who inspire me do certain things. And I started doing this when I first learned about the law of attraction. And I was like, wait, I needed a job that was like double the salary. And I'm like, I'm starting to look around at the people who have those types of salaries. I'm watching, I'm observing how they dress, how they show up in their jobs, how they communicate to people. And I'm taking notes. And I go, oh, well, I'm going to start doing that. I started to embody those characteristics. So now I'm starting to create a character. I'm starting to create a character. And my little character here is a beautiful little girl. I start to say, well, what does she do? What are her habits? What is she no longer entertaining? What does she no longer tolerate? When I get a woman who needs to change her relationship situation, but she's been spending decades dating wounded individuals from her wounded heart, she doesn't even know that like there are certain things that like high value women just don't tolerate. It's just not a thing. And I'm always so surprised. And I'm like, wait a minute, you did what? You spent how much time and energy going to meet this guy? Like what? That's very chasing. So it's like stepping into her energy, embodying her. You're going to look at the things, so you can look at her lifestyle, how she shows up. You know, there are certain things that she does not entertain. She does not worry about. She does not tolerate in her life. She does not experience anymore. When I look at the version of me just 2 years ago, who was going through a horrible, terrible, painful time with my son, and I look at myself now, even 1 year ago, he came back. It was actually not that bad. No, it was different. It was much better. But yeah, what we used to live with, my mom and I, the fear, the terror, the, oh my God, do we have to hide everything? And how are we going to, he was fine some days, but then when the anger took over, it was just really, really scary. And it's like, wow, I no longer deal with that. Like, it's no longer part of my reality. So you can look at things that you deal with right now, fears that you have, things that create anxiety for you, and say, I no longer want that. I no longer want that. And so now your vision is becoming even more clear. Your character is starting to evolve, where you're becoming more her than the version of you used to be. So we're going to get really clear on what you desire, why you want that thing, because we only want something because we think that we will feel better in having it. So when we we get clear on what that feeling is, where I get paid to be me. I know I always have enough time, money, energy. I live with such peace. I move with conviction. I am not pulled off my path and highly reactive to other people's dramas, because I don't have to perform for anybody else. I don't have to show them, oh, I'm a good mom, watch what I can do. No, I am here to be who I am here to be and nothing else. The more you know who she is, the more you will act in alignment with her. And we're going to get clear on what her standards are, what her characteristics are. And so you're letting go of, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't want to do because it's hard, because now you're going to have to get a whole new boat, because you're letting go. This version of you, she's going away. She's dying. You're dying to the new version of you. And we do this all the time. We're doing it all the time if we are living in our present moment and attention, power. So the old you is worried about, oh my God, but I'm holding on to certain things and identities of, like, I'm somebody who always struggles with money. Well, you can't move up here. You can't be her if this is the dominant energy. So you will notice there are things you need to clean up. And when you take a real clear look at your life, you will know exactly what those things are. And so now this version of you, she no longer does certain things that this version of you is doing. And here's the challenge to actually receiving and realizing the manifestations. That's the last step here, is realizing, receiving the manifestation. So a manifestation is just something that comes into the tangible world. So we're manifesting all the time, every moment of every day. Most people manifest on default. Powerful people deliberately manifest the visions and dreams and desires by rehearsing, we have to release any attachment to what is not here. You cannot experience lasting, significant, fast transformation from the old identity, because she is going to keep playing the same tapes. So we are reprogramming our mind, releasing our attachment, because I know it's happening. I don't have to attach to when and how. This is a power move, because you can say, yeah, but I've got bills due in 3 days. Divine timing is that. Divine. The more you lock into this, the more everything else fades away, and you are locked into her reality. So if you knew that one place that you needed to, there's one trigger part, there's one area of your life that you think, I'm never going to get past this. I've played this pattern too many times. I'm always going to be in this, have this relationship with. And most people have three categories. It's money, love, or health. That are the big, like, I can't move past this. This is my curse. If you knew what that was and you said, I am ready to change it, I am ready to be wealthy, because it is your birthright to be wealthy. We are not here to suffer and struggle. It is simply our programs that keep us in patterns of struggle financially. And when you can decide it's time for you to be wealthy, because when you are wealthy, you have power over your choices, over helping other people. You magnify who you are. More of your gifts, because all we're doing here is we're getting clear on what my unique gifts are. The more of my gifts the world benefits from. The world benefits when you are living with your purpose, in alignment with your purpose. The world benefits. We are all here to discover who we are and why we're here. And once we do, then we can be on the power track. So whether you struggle with money, love, and health, or any one or two or three of these patterns, these themes, once you decide I'm cleaning it up, you will be shown the path when you follow the steps in the P.O.W.E.R method. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I am going to be sharing more about this, going way deep, October 6th through the 10th. So 6th through 10th. In our next challenge. And every day we're going to work on one of these. And you are going to workshop this during our challenge. And by the end of it, you will have a very clear vision of who you are and where you're going and who you're becoming. You will have a very clear set of tools that you can use to go from pattern to power and presence. You will be owning your desires. You will know what it looks like and how. On day 3, we're going to go on how to wake up to our worthiness and our wholeness. So we're going to integrate those shadow parts of you so that now you can move forward with more confidence and wholeness, with all of you coming along. And that's where you're really getting the alignment with the universe's energetic power behind you. And you're going to move in one direction rather than in circles. And then on day 4, we're going to talk about, okay, what can I do today that would be embodying her energy? So maybe it's, I'm going to start dressing like her. I'm going to spend time like her. Before I was a coach, I started to act like, well, what would a coach be doing today? And I started to realize I would be riding my bike to the beach on a Tuesday morning, sitting in the sun, watching the waves. So I started to take actions in alignment with who I wanted to be, what my version of that was. And then on day 5, we're going to release the how, release our attachment, release our vision to the universe, and we're going to receive the guidance. We're going to rehearse our future memories, and we are going to realize our desires in the form of the energy. So if I desire to realize more money, more tangible dollar bills, I'm going to realize, I'm going to see that coming into my reality. So that is the format. that we're going to go over on starting on Monday, October 6th through Friday, October 10th. Free coaching, and it's interactive. Bring your journals. Be ready to dig and dive deep into this work. And you will have not only like a pathway, but you'll have a vision, and you will have tools that you can use to apply so that you can fast track your manifestations, because we're not here to go over and over and over in years and years and years of what we can do energetically in a moment. We can jump onto a completely new timeline when we get clear on some of this work and we decide. Okay, any questions?
Gina, will you be sending out, or where can we find information about the challenge? What's the best way to do that?
Great question. I'm going to set up the event today, and I will send it out via email, and I will send it out in, let's see, reminders in all the groups. So all the group chats we've had from previous ones, I will send out like, hey, let's get on here if you want, let me know, and then we'll make sure that you're on that list. And I'm up leveling because I'm training my VA. I have a new VA, and I'm training her how to do this stuff. So we're in that growth phase right now because I need that support. And so I'm delegating things that are not on my values and priorities to do to her, and she loves it. So to answer your question, email most likely will be the most effective and efficient way, but through the messenger, you'll probably see it a few times. I will have an event set up as well, like I did for this one. And I was playing around with not putting the Zoom link on the event itself, because Facebook tends to not love external links. But what I forgot to do was put it in like at the last minute. That's why, thank you for going, hey, where is this? So I will do that later. I mean, I will do that next time, where I'm going to add the Zoom link, but I'll also make sure it gets out in various channels.
Okay, perfect. Because, well, I know you'd send it to me anyway, but there's some new people coming into this awareness of a new way of being. So I want to make sure that I can get it to them comfortably too.
Fabulous. You know what you could do also is, when I send out the recording of this, if you want to say, hey, this is what we did today, this is what Gina talked about, and if you're interested, then they can, kind of have a sense of if I speak their language, because we don't know, right?
Right.
I know it's kind of a long, hour-long kind of thing, so that might be too much, or they might go, yeah, I want to hear everything. So I'll send this out, and you can do that, or you can send them the link to the event.
Okay, perfect.
Yay. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop recording. And if you have